All as well. I wanted to share a quick thought that came to mind as a result of this past weekend and having a chance to connect with a lot of great minds and just to bounce ideas off each other. But to go back in time a little bit and to try to put everything together as to where we're currently at and what's being rolled out for us. And I had an idea that it's not, of course, nothing is by accident. Everything is by design. And so remember the Economist cover from 1988, referring to new world currency and it being more of a away from the dollar type of thing. And so it got me thinking about as what was revealed during our mastermind in regards to how the merger of fiat and cryptos is going to be transitioned, or we're going to be transitioning to it. It really got me to thinking about how the Economist cover, if you look back at all the prior Economist covers and seeing how the crazy artwork that's put into those covers are intentionally done more so as not necessarily a warning or as a futuristic viewpoint of what might be coming, but my gut feeling is telling me that they're deliberately drawn up strategically. Everything is placed in order for those of whatever part of that group or society of a higher echelon of people that make all the monetary central bank decisions, where they themselves are able to use those covers as a way of knowing signals and codes and whatnot. Because think about this, here we are now at the end of a decade, approaching a new decade of which the monetary system is imploding. And we're hearing more and more governments all of a sudden now becoming more open and more friendly to the idea of having a centralized cryptocurrency. And so between the Russia project, the China project, Turkey has a project coming out, the Euro has a project coming out, the Maduro in Venezuela has a project, you name it. I think Iran has a project. So that's 6 or 7 nations right there, all with projects where, of course, this is not new. I would be willing to bet they are not just all of a sudden coming out the woodwork saying we need a cryptocurrency type of project. No, I believe this was strategically placed, and I believe that the coin around that phoenix's neck that says 2018 was a signal to the world's powers or whoever. I don't want to go too far deep into it, but I believe it was a signal telling the powers that be, central banks, governments, at this new era that was supposed to take place 30 years after the fact. So you got 1988 with the cover mentioning that the dollar would no longer be a world reserve currency and all stuff like that, and showed up the bird with burning dollars underneath it. And so here we are now entering into a new decade, and all of a sudden we have all these governments with projects based upon using the lingo, cryptocurrency, blockchain, coins, tokens, all those relatively new terms in regards to the last 10 years of a new movement of digital currencies that's been unleashed to the world. And so here we have central banks now on board, planning their projects, all set to be released roughly in 2020. At the same time, the old monetary system is dying. So you tell me that 1988 cover was by coincidence, that 2018 was not necessarily a actual event like a lot of us were thinking. We were all anticipating that 2018, starting that year or shortly thereafter, Bitcoin would be the next world reserve currency, and of which, as of now, it's still being positioned as something that will be preferred by the people, even though in my gut feelings, there's something a lot deeper that we won't know until we get to that point when it comes to the issuance and the movement behind the Bitcoin and all those other altcoins. But I just had an idea that I want to share about 2020 being the year where it's official that the cover that came out 30 years ago, referring to 2018 as a time frame for a new world reserve currency, happens to be the announcement of all these central banks, because that to me was their sign and their signal. It was more so like a go ahead that now is the time to start developing your projects, because by 2020 or whatever, before the monetary system completely collapses, you'll need to have rolled out and have positioned everything that you will need to roll out to the public as a part of this new era of centralized control of our monetary system. So just the idea of that cover got me to thinking. I'm like, especially after this past weekend's mastermind, the first thing came to mind when we're done is like, man, that cover got a lot of people excited, expecting some type of new world currency. But to me, it's like that was a sign. That was a heads up to all the powers that be that it's time to transition now. And so sure enough, I would imagine you go back to 2018 or 2017 or even before that, central banks already had those projects in the works, and now all of a sudden we're hearing about it. So definitely this is all, in my opinion, one big orchestrated event. And so the whole cryptocurrency blockchain movement overall is designed to steer us towards a digital age. And I believe that Economist cover right here was the catalyst that got all the central banks on board at the same time. And here we are now, approaching the end of 2019 into 2020, where we can expect some projects to be officially rolled out and announced. And, you know, if you guys have not had a chance, I would encourage you, that the full discussion of our mastermind was definitely well put together, well thought out, back and forth amongst the group there. So definitely looking forward to doing more of that with the gentlemen. And so, you know, if you are interested to find out the full shebang, definitely become a patron of the YouTube channel, RTD YouTube channel. You get a chance to see all our discussions, because we're going to do some live streams and I'm going to do some interviewing amongst the group. So I think it's always better to put more minds together to come up with a single or two ideas to run with. And so I just thought I would share this idea that was spurred on by having a chance to connect with those guys this weekend, especially having a chance to see some actual possible samples of what they're going to roll out. So I definitely, yeah, it was fun. But anyway, that being the case, not a typical format. So I'm currently had to get out of the state of Michigan to get some fresh air, some warmer air. So with that being the case, I'll probably live stream from the phone, but more than likely if I don't, you know why. But other than that, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think the Economist cover was a deliberate, like a time where it was basically the switch was flipped for the central banks and governments around the world to now begin working on their projects? Because once again, everything is planned. None of this is by mistake. I believe that there's people who actually think they're controlling all this. And if they are controlling this, then we're still playing their game. And so if you're not having or holding on to physical metal, because the biggest threat to a digital and paper world is something tangible, and it happens to be with metal. So I'd encourage you, if you have not already, definitely take advantage of the RTD coin. Information is down below. And other than that, I got some more things I'm going to be rolling out for the holiday season. So stay tuned. But other than that, get your weight up. That's all you can do. In the meantime, stay prayed up. But other than that, leave a comment down below. Look forward to your thoughts. Thanks.